Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from strange UFO sightings to clips of cryptids and creatures we never even thought could exist. Ready to question your very reality? Well, let's dive right in. Kicking off today's episode, we got a clip that has the paranormal community completely divided. Take a look. Can you tell what that thing swimming in the river is? No. Here's what we can see. It's pitch black, with a long tail swaying side to side as it glides effortlessly through the water. Most of its head stays submerged, making it hard to make out its face, but its full body is clearly visible beneath the surface. The most intriguing part, its limbs. There seem to be 4 of them, 2 positioned on its sides, resembling wings or flippers, and 2 more near the tail, folded downward. I've racked my brain trying to figure out what this could be, but honestly, I've no clue. Well, there's one thing, and before you call me crazy, hear me out. Its shape reminds me of a lot of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. And apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks so. Many in the community have pointed out the striking resemblance. And that's not all. They believe we've got a real dragon on our hands. As interesting as that sounds, not everyone accepts it. Others in the community argue that the resemblance to the animated dragon is just too perfect. They believe this is nothing more than CGI trickery or sorcery, depending on which generation you're from. As expected, this debate has stirred up some serious friction. But now that you've seen the clip for yourself, what's your verdict? Real creature or digital hoax? Let's hear your thoughts. While you share your thoughts on that, let's take a look at this clip uploaded by a young lad on one of the paranormal platforms.
Una puta nave, ¿no? Sí, es como una nave. Y ya está como inclinada. Estaba como así, yo veo. Ahorita bajadas tú, ¿no? Todo más arriba. Y está bajando, ¿no? Como a la altura del poste, pero aquel poste.
According to him, he was inside when his dad saw what he thought was a plane in the sky. He waited to hear the plane pass by, but that didn't happen. Perplexed and confused, he took a closer look, and that's when he noticed that something about this plane was off. He then asked his son to come out with his DSLR camera to take videos and clips. When he started, he zoomed into the last ability of the camera, and what he captured is what you guys see. Many in the community felt it was a UFO and commended him for his capture. Others, however, felt the story was too good to be true. It just gave them an itch they couldn't scratch. And when people have an itch they can't scratch of late, you know who they blame, right? If you said either AI or the government, you'd be correct. Anyway, you've seen the clip, so what's your take? Real UFO or a family's attempt for their 5 minutes of fame? And if you're wondering, this clip is actually fairly recent. And by recent, I mean as recent as the 4th of February 2025.
Una nave, ¿no? Sí, es como una nave. Y ya está como inclinada. Estaba como así, yo veo. Ahorita bajadas tú, ¿no? Todo más arriba. Y está bajando, ¿no? Como a la altura del poste, pero
Everyone has things they look forward to when they move into a property. One thing no one, however, expects is to see crucifixes and Bibles all around. As much as I'd love to say I made this up, I didn't. The clip playing on your screen was recorded by the family. Initially, they were spooked out by the religious ornaments all over the house, but soon settled in nicely after a bit of research showed that the house was fine and nothing weird had ever been recorded there. That would, however, be short-lived when they started having strange experiences such as doors opening and shutting themselves. While everyone had their fair share, the pop on your screen had it worse than all of them. The reason? Well, it's almost always at home, and there's always the possibility that whatever is behind the strange occurrences may have a thing against dogs. Either way, the paranormal community believes we're dealing with a ghost, whereas others think it's a hoax. Your very own eyes have seen the clip, so what do you think it is? On this channel, we've seen clips where UFOs shoot beams, hide in clouds, and even cloak themselves. For the first time, however, we've got this clip that shows something else entirely. It shows a UFO shooting something that looks like a chemtrail back down to Earth. If this clip is to be believed, the big question everyone should be asking themselves is, why? Why will they do this? If you were here for the first time and hearing the chemtrail conspiracy for the first time as well, it's a popular theory that suggests that the white trails left behind by some aeroplanes are actually chemical or biological agents deliberately sprayed into the sky by governments or secret organizations. Believers of the conspiracy argue that these so-called chemtrails are used for weather modifications, mind control, or even population control. I know what you're thinking, this was shot by an alien ship. Well, there are some variations of the theory that link the phenomenon to extraterrestrial influence. Certain conspiracy circles claim that chemtrails are part of an alien-human agenda, either to terraform Earth for non-human species or to subtly alter human biology for future alien contact. Others suggest that chemtrails mask UFO activity by creating artificial cloud cover. While no credible scientific evidence supports these ideas, they remain popular in online fringe communities, often intersected with other alien-related conspiracies like government cover-ups of alien extraterrestrial encounters. Yeah, that sounds like a lot, but you've got a clip here suggesting it might be the actual truth. You've seen the clip, you've heard the conspiracy. So what do you think? Still on Unnatural Things, we have little to no explanation for, take a look at this clip, or rather, listen attentively. Did you hear that? It started off as something you'd expect to hear in the woods and then escalated to something that you'd expect from a very large creature. This was recorded in Tennessee, where the one who sent it in states that his aunt, who recorded the clip, insists it's a Bigfoot. Any of you who is a Bigfoot enthusiast knows that Tennessee is considered a hot spot for Bigfoots. Knowing that, Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, was all for the possibility of this being legit. A certain team member, whose name shall not be mentioned, also did make a contribution to this one. He states that Tennessee is home to bears, most noticeably the American black. Given this, he's skeptical about the audio coming from Bigfoot. Now, I must say that this individual in question doesn't believe in Bigfoot, and I understand his logical standpoint, but think about it. If you were a Bigfoot trying to avoid being discovered, where would you live? By yourself in a place where no other animals but you live, or among animals that may have similar features as you, making it easy to blend in and disappear? Your guess is as good as mine. This eerie photograph was taken on the beach of Loberia de Cobquera in Chile by a photographer who was out with a friend. He was capturing the foggy landscape with his friend in the frame, and at the time, nothing seemed unusual. But when they got home and reviewed the photographs, they noticed something chilling. In the far end of the clear field, lurking in the mist, was a strange, grayish figure. At first glance, it might have been easy to overlook, but upon closer inspection, they realized that they'd captured something truly unsettling. When they zoomed in, they could clearly see the upper torso of some kind of humanoid being. This creature appeared to be unnaturally tall, around 8 to 9 feet by estimation. However, because of the distance and the angle, only its upper body was visible. The most disturbing part was how human, yet inhuman, it looked. Its arms were long and thin, hanging stiffly by its slender frame. Its skin was pale, almost whitish gray, and it seemed to be bald. No distinct facial features could be made out, which only added to the mystery. Some believed it was a ghost, though unlike a typical apparition, it looked too solid and too tangible to be a mere spirit. Others speculated this was evidence of extraterrestrial life. The creature's unusual proportions and eerie presence just fit the whole alien vibe. Another possibility was that this was some kind of cryptid humanoid species that had somehow remained hidden. So what do you think this mysterious figure could be? On the night of January 31st, 2025 in Alaska, 2 witnesses encountered something strange. A series of mystical beams of light descended from the sky, stretching down like pillars into the frozen landscape. These glowing shafts surrounded them, casting an otherworldly glow across the snow. It looked unreal, almost supernatural. When they shared the footage, the internet went wild. Some believed it was a sign from the heavens, others thought it could be a portal opening, and of course, many jumped straight to extraterrestrials. But here's the disappointing truth. This is actually a natural phenomenon. What they witnessed were light pillars, an optical illusion caused when tiny ice crystals in the atmosphere reflect light from the ground, creating vertical beams that seem to float in the sky. Given the icy terrain in the footage, the freezing temperatures made perfect conditions for this to occur. So while this may look otherworldly, sometimes the most astonishing sights have an explanation right here on Earth.
So I'm in Alaska and I'm genuinely terrified. What the is this?
Now moving on to something that's not an illusion. Take a look at this clip from... Wait, now that I think about it, we're not told where this was filmed. Well, that doesn't matter too much, does it? Anyway, in the clip, we see a man enjoying his time out at sea. This introduction is short-lived, and he appears to be trying to get onto his board and paddle away. Just in case you missed it, there's something in the water with him. It doesn't appear to be aggressively attacking him, but its presence is significant enough to make him uncomfortable to leave the water. I don't know about you, but when you look closely, it appears to have a large fishtail and flipping in the water. After doing a little digging around, it turns out the only reason the man left the water was because he felt threatened. He claims there were mermaids in the water with him. Looking at the clip again with the lens is to see mermaids. I must say that it does look slightly convincing. Now, some in the community were skeptical about this one because they didn't think mermaids could exist. If you've been on this channel long enough, then you should remember the clip of the scientific expedition that ran into a mermaid touching its submarine shield deep underwater. Now, bear in mind, those were scientists. Although they didn't call them mermaids, we all know what they were dealing with. That was not fake. So if we could have mermaids in that clip, what's to say there weren't mermaids messing with that young man from this clip? Well, maybe I'm overthinking it, but what do you guys think?
Let's get out here quick.
Wait, now that I think about it, we're not being told where this is filmed.
One night, a man pulled over near a cornfield to take a break. He parked his car, turned off the engine, and was just about to step out when something caught his eye. There, hidden among the tall corn stalks, was a pair of glowing eyes staring directly at him. Fix your gaze on the circled area in the footage. Do you see it? It's subtle, almost easy to miss, but once you notice it, it's unnerving. There was actually something or some things watching him. At first, he thought it could be an animal, but the height didn't add up. It stood too tall to be a deer, a coyote, or even a bear. And if you focus on the shape, it appears to be covered in fur, yet it doesn't quite resemble any known creature. Some believe this could be a cryptid, but which one? Bigfoot, Dogman, or was it something else entirely? Given it's a cornfield, there are some ET theories going around as well. Whatever it was, the man didn't wait around to find out. A woman in Mexico was out for a walk when she noticed this, a crystal-like rock floating in midair. There was no one around, no strings, no visible support, just the rock suspended as if defying gravity. It looked like something straight out of a fantasy movie or some kind of paranormal event. At first, it seemed unexplainable, but then look closely. Watch the movement. It doesn't just hover, it swings back and forth like a pendulum. Now, a pendulum swing happens when an object is suspended from a pivot, allowing it to move in a steady, rhythmic motion. I know what you're thinking. Lots of English. What does that actually mean? Well, simply put, this so-called floating rock might actually be tied to something, perhaps a neatly invisible fishing line, perfectly blending in with the background due to the lighting and camera angle. Or it could be hanging from a spider's web, caught in just the right position to create the illusion. The funny thing is, the woman didn't seem to notice any of this, which makes the whole thing even more intriguing. Anyway, what do you think?
Y aquí es donde se hace real el... What? ¿Esto es real? ¿Esto es real? A ver, anexen explicaciones científicas para...
Some men stumbled upon this strange-looking bird perched on the ceiling of a building. This creature was huge, with a long neck and an unusual appearance. At first glance, its head resembled a heron, but something about it was off. Its feathers looked untamed and didn't match the sleek, well-groomed look of a typical heron. The coloration was also odd, with a mix of light blue, brown, black, and even some red. It's definitely not a common bird. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Any idea what it could be? Let us know in the comments section.
What is that? I don't know.
This video was taken by a man who was home with his family when he heard strange noises coming from the front door. Curious and concerned, he opened the door to check, and that's when he saw a dark figure moving towards the roof. Now, the front door opens into an alleyway, which already isn't the safest setup to begin with. Realizing something or someone was climbing up there, the man quickly told his daughter to grab her phone and check from upstairs. This next clip shows the daughter recording as she enters the upstairs bedroom. She walks toward the window, parts the curtains, and just as she looks out, she jumps back. A terrifying face is staring right back at her from the other side of the glass. It wasn't just an ordinary face. It looked unnatural, eerie, and unsettling. The girl immediately screams, panics, and shuts the curtain. The camera cuts there, but according to the family, when she gathered the courage to check again, the figure was gone. At first, they assumed it was an intruder, but the way it looked, moved, and disappeared made them question that theory. Was it a person in a mask, a paranormal entity, or something else entirely?
Oh my God! What is that?
Imagine being sent to jail for defending yourself. Sounds crazy, but it happens more often than you think. Many people have been convicted despite acting in self-defense, simply because the courts couldn't fully grasp the situation they were in. But now Florida has taken a major step forward in justice and technology. Courts in the state have begun using virtual reality to recreate crime scenes, allowing judges to experience what the defendant went through firsthand before making a final ruling. Look at the judges wearing VR headsets, stepping into the shoes of those on trial and seeing exactly what happened from their perspective. This is one of the most innovative uses of AI and technology in the legal system. And here's the best part. This method is specifically being used for self-defense cases. For the first time, courts can move beyond flat evidence and conflicting testimonies to truly understand the situation before passing judgment. Personally, I think this is groundbreaking and could lead to fairer rulings for people who have had no choice but to defend themselves. What do you think?
These people are coming into his space, right?
And he's backing up.
And he's backing
so
up.
as not to be injured like his wife and are being approached. And it's like a chest-to-chest encounter, no matter where you look.
A resident living on the top floor of an apartment complex woke up in the early morning before the sun had even begun to rise. Still groggy, she walked over to the window to take a look outside, but what she saw sent chills down her spine. The entire city was covered in thick fog, but down below in the misty haze, something was moving. Black, shadowy shapes slithered and twisted, wriggling through the fog. Some of them seemed to appear out of nowhere, only to vanish moments later. There were many of them, shifting and drifting as though they had a life of their own, yet no one knows exactly what they are. Some believe that these are dark entities that roam through the night until the city wakes, disappearing with the first light of day. But what do they want? What are they doing before they fade away? Perhaps the woman just woke up too early that day and saw something she wasn't meant to see. I mean, well, how else do you explain this? This woman was out in the woods digging something out of the ground when out of nowhere she suddenly fell over and tumbled down. Now here's where things get strange. She wasn't moving erratically, she wasn't rushing, she was just standing there. But the way she fell, well, that doesn't add up. It almost looks like something pulled her down, but there's nothing there. No one around, no visible force, nothing. Some believe it could be a paranormal force, maybe even a spirit lurking in the woods. Others think there might have been an invisible tripwire or a root that caused her to fall. But the way she goes down is unnatural, almost too sudden, too precise. So what do you think? Was this just an accident, or was something else at play? This creature was captured by a deep-sea camera. It looks like a strange brown, round, stone-like object, except it has a wide-open mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth and a tail. I know you're just itching to type AI footage, but believe it or not, it's not. Now, this isn't edited or a hoax. This is actually a real fish. It's known as the anglerfish. Anglerfish are some of the most fascinating and eerie creatures in the ocean. They live in the deep sea where sunlight doesn't reach, and they use a bioluminescent lure to attract prey. Their terrifying appearance is perfectly adapted to the dark, harsh environment. Talk about looking like what you've been through. A woman was at home relaxing with her dog when something strange happened. Her dog suddenly froze, staring intensely into the corner of the room. At first, she didn't think much of it until the dog let out a low, menacing growl, and then came the shaking. She looked toward the corner but saw nothing. Confused, she grabbed her phone and pointed the camera at the same spot. Still nothing. But the dog was seeing something. It stepped down from the bed, looking cautiously toward the corner, barking and growling as if warning whatever was there to stay back. The tension in the room was suffocating. The woman is truly terrified. What did her dog see? And more importantly, was it still there? came across this very odd-looking footage that left me completely baffled. In the video, there's a pile of black turmeric on the ground. A hand appears, places a padlock beside the turmeric, and locks it. Then the same hand sticks some kind of twig into the pile. Another hand places a folded piece of paper near the turmeric along with a coconut. At first, nothing happens, but then things start moving on their own. The coconut slowly begins to rotate as if being turned by an invisible force. Moments later, the piece of paper suddenly catches fire without any visible spark. Then to top it all off, the locked padlock unlocks by itself. I had no idea what was happening, but then I came across a comment explaining that this had to do with the black turmeric. Black turmeric is used in various traditions for medicinal purposes, and some even believe it has a connection to witchcraft or magic. Now, while there's no solid scientific proof that black turmeric has any supernatural properties, it is said to contain some level of carbon, which could, in theory, explain why the paper ignited. But what about the moving coconut or the unlocking padlock? Is it a coincidence, a trick, or something else entirely? These friends were walking at night when they noticed something strange in the window of an odd, eerie-looking old building. It was the shadowy figure of some kind of entity standing there watching. According to them, this building was constructed way back in 1915, and with a structure that old, you just know there's bound to be some paranormal activity. But here's where it gets even creepier. This building was once a hospital, and we all know hospitals are a hotspot for ghosts. Now, the place is supposed to be abandoned, so where did this mysterious humanoid figure come from? Some believe it's an entity that has haunted the building for years, a lingering spirit trapped within its walls. But then again, given the state of the place, could it just be a homeless person seeking shelter, or maybe even a security guard? What do you think? Is it a paranormal presence or just an unexpected guest?
No, those are arms.
Oh my god! Oh my god, it's a real person.
No, those are arms now. No, those are arms.
This picture was taken on January the 7th, 2025 by a man driving through Nantao County in Taiwan. As he was on the road, something strange caught his eye in the sky. Peeking out from behind the clouds was an unusual, rectangular-shaped object. Most of it remained hidden, but the part that was visible had a distinct unnatural structure. Skeptics who saw the image were quick to dismiss it, attributing the sighting to a fata morgana, a well-known atmospheric illusion that can distort objects and make them appear to float or take on bizarre shapes. However, not everyone is convinced. Some believe this is not just an optical trick, but rather a UFO using the clouds as cover. This wouldn't be the first time reports have surfaced about unidentified objects hiding behind or even camouflaging as clouds. In fact, this theory has been widely discussed in UFO communities, with some pointing out how crafts may use advanced cloaking technology to blend into the sky. The idea even mirrors scenes from the movie Nope, where a UFO disguises itself as a cloud to avoid detection. So what do you think? Is this just a natural illusion, or could there really be a UFO up there? Swedish scientists from the organization Final Spark have made a groundbreaking invention, a living computer. And by that, I mean a computer made from human brain cells, not just one brain, but 16. But don't worry, these brains weren't taken from people. They were lab-grown from stem cells and connected to a large computer where they send and receive information through electrodes. To keep them functioning, they're placed in microfluidic incubators that provide essential nutrients. However, these organic processors have a lifespan of only 100 days. After that, they're replaced with a new set of lab-grown brain cells. This invention is said to be highly efficient compared to traditional computer processors. It uses less energy, can learn and adapt more easily, and have the potential to advance artificial intelligence in ways we have never seen before. What do you think? Is this the future of computing, or does it sound a little too much like science fiction? Two friends had visited the Pilcomayo River near Tarija, Bolivia, for a relaxing day by the water. One of them took this picture of the other standing on a rock, posing against the breathtaking scenery. At first, there was nothing unusual, just a man enjoying the view, but later when they looked at the photo closely, they noticed something chilling. Let's zoom in and take a better look. On the side of the river near the bank was another figure, one that was not supposed to be there. It was slender, its skin pale and almost gray. Its head was large, its eyes massive and black. This thing appeared to be translucent, almost see-through, as if it was barely there. It seemed to be walking along the riverbank, unaware that it had been captured on camera. Now, tell me, how do you explain this? Some are saying that this creature is some sort of interdimensional being, seeing how see-through it is, but others say it's just a hoax. But what are your thoughts? This next footage was taken in China, and what was captured is truly mind-blowing. Someone spotted a strange object flying in the sky. It's a round, flat craft with lights glowing around its rim. This is the classic UFO design we all know. Now, I've come across plenty of so-called UFO footage before. Most of them are blurry, shaky, or obviously fake. But this one, well, this is different. The details are sharp, the movement is smooth, and there's something about it that makes it hard to dismiss as just another hoax. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. Would you consider this actual proof of extraterrestrial presence in China, or is there another explanation? These two girls were having the time of their lives late at night. They were walking down an empty street, laughing uncontrollably as they filmed themselves. From the way they were giggling non-stop, and the one dressed in black was even barefoot and smoking something, tells you they were feeling good, if you get what I mean. But then, everything changed in an instant. As they continued recording, they noticed something strange in the darkness ahead. So they zoomed in, and that's when they saw it. A pale, humanoid figure emerged from the shadows. At first, it was just a white shape, barely visible in the dark, but within seconds, a ghostly-looking person suddenly bolted toward them, charging straight at them. The girls screamed and took off running, but when they finally turned around to check, the figure had completely vanished. It was gone, just like that. Now, some people think this footage was just another hoax for the internet, but others believe these girls caught some sort of entity out there that night. And since they got it on camera, well, they can't have been seeing things then. So what do you think it was?
Let's go! Let's go! Right, sitting on the back of the plane. Y'all probably think I'm insane. Probably think I'm doing this for fame.
We often hear that abandoned places are some of the most haunted locations in the world. Dark, forgotten buildings, crumbling hospitals, and deserted houses seem to hold the most chilling encounters. But recently I came across something unexpected, a haunting caught inside a plane. Now, a plane is the last place I'd expect to see something paranormal, but just watch this footage. This guy is a cabin cleaner, one of the people who clean airplanes after every flight. That night, he'd finished his final cleanup of the day, but instead of checking out and heading home, he decided to stay behind. I don't know if he was locked in or if he just wanted to sneak around for fun, but after everyone left, he pulled out his phone, turned on the flashlight and camera, and started walking down the empty aisle. At first, he was excited. You can even hear it in his voice as he sings, thrilled to have pulled this off. But his excitement did not last long. As he walked through the quiet, dimly lit plane, something terrifying happened. One of the seat belts, which was just buckled, suddenly unlatched and flung open on its own. Just look at that. How was this even possible? There was no one there, no sudden movement, no turbulence, yet the seatbelt snapped open by itself. They froze for a second and then bolted. The fear in his voice was instant. He ran away from the seat, and just like that, the footage cuts off. Now, here's the real question. What unbuckled that seatbelt? Was it just a mechanical malfunction, or did something unseen unbuckle it?
Let's go! Let's go! Right, sitting on the back of the plane. Y'all probably think I'm insane. Probably think I'm doing this for fame.
A group of men were out at the beach when they noticed something strange on the shore. At first, it looked like seaweed or debris, but as they got closer, they realized it was a fish. They scattered across the sand, lifeless. Something about them looked unnatural. Their skin was peeling, almost like it had been burned or eaten away by something in the water. Their eyes were completely gone, leaving behind empty sockets. Some had patches that looked rotten, yet their bodies remained almost intact. So what really happened here? But is it even safe for these men to be walking in that water? If whatever killed these fish is still out there, what's stopping it from affecting humans too? This man was out by the river, hoping for a good catch, when he noticed something strange in the water. At first, it was just a small murky patch on the surface, nothing too unusual, but then it started to spread. The dark patch grew wider and wider, slowly consuming the water around it. It looked like mud or something being released from beneath, but from where? So, stopping fishing, he packed up his gear and moved to a different spot. It wasn't about taking any chances, but the real question is, what caused it? Was it something unnatural, a release of sediment from the riverbed, or was there something moving below, something stirring at the depths, hidden just beneath the surface? Some strange creature was spotted in this water. Two large black things protruded from the surface. They looked like massive tendrils. They didn't look like tree branches or seaweed. They were too structured, too deliberate. If these appendages belonged to something beneath the water, then whatever it was had to be enormous. Could this be some kind of unknown aquatic creature, a mutant? What do you think? And don't say AI. Not everything is AI. But this could be, though. You know what? Let's move on to the next. Mobile phones were designed so we could have them always within reach. But what if I told you that the further your phone is from you, the better? And here's why. Our phones emit RF, which is short for radio frequency radiation, which studies suggest may have harmful effects on the human body. The closer the phone is to us, the more we absorb these frequencies, increasing potential risks. It's advised to use the speakerphone for calls instead of holding the device directly to our heads. And keeping phones in our pockets, that's an even bigger concern, as prolonged exposure has been linked to issues like brain cancer and even testicular cancer in men. So if the safest way to use our phones is to keep them as far away from us as possible, then doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of making them mobile? What exactly do they expect us to do now?
¿Qué es eso?
A man was home alone at night when he began to hear soft weeping coming from his kitchen. The sound was faint but unmistakable. It was a woman crying. Curious and a little uneasy, he grabbed his phone and started recording as he searched his house. The sobbing continued, and between the muffled cries, you can hear the words, "Help me," or something close to it. Then as he turned towards the window, he froze. There was someone or something standing outside. The figure was too blurry to make out, just barely visible through the glass. He stared for a moment, trying to process what he was seeing, but eventually he brushed it off and went back to bed. But that was a mistake. Not long after, loud banging erupted from his front door, heavy knocks as if someone was desperate to get in. So he got up to check, moving carefully toward the door. Then he pulled the curtain aside, but there was no one at the door. However, across the yard on the other side of the truck, a pale face was staring right at him. The moment their eyes met, the man panicked, slamming the curtain shut and locking himself in his bedroom. What was that face? A shapeshifter? A skinwalker luring him out? Or something even worse?
¿Qué es lo que quieres? Deja de molestar.
¿Qué es eso? No manches. Oh, no manches.
A man woke up in the middle of the night to a strange sound coming from his storage room. At first, he thought it might be an intruder, so he cautiously went to check it out. But what he saw was something far more unsettling. Inside the dimly lit storage room, he spotted a small figure moving across the floor, quickly darting behind a box. Whatever it was not human. Shocked and terrified, he didn't stick around. He turned and left the room immediately. But curiosity got the best of him. Later, he took a better look at the footage again, and that's when things got even creepier. As he zoomed in on the footage, he realized this wasn't a creature at all. It was a doll. One of his child's old dolls had been packed away in storage after she outgrew them. Mind you, it is a lifeless, stuffed with cotton doll that had no reason and ability to move on its own. And yet there it was, walking. How do you explain that? Back in 2024, 2 men were found dead in the Washington forest, reportedly from exposure. Their families grew concerned after they failed to return home, prompting a search party to be sent out in Skamania County. 60 men, along with search dogs, helicopters, and drones, combed the snowy, freezy landscape. Given the extreme conditions, it was dangerous for anyone to stay out overnight. Sadly, the bodies of the 2 men were found, and they were identified as 36-year-old and the other was 57. But here's where things get strange. These men weren't just lost hikers, they had gone out in the woods on a Sasquatch hunt. While the official report states that they died from exposure, it leaves an eerie question lingering. What exactly were they exposed to out there? Was it truly just the cold, or did they encounter something far more unsettling? The paranormal community believes it's the latter, but what say you? A mother had set up a baby monitor in the nursery after noticing something strange. Every night at the same exact time, her baby would wake up crying hysterically. No matter how much she comforted the child by feeding, changing, and rocking, nothing seemed to help. So she took the baby to the doctor, but the results were clear. The child was perfectly healthy. Yet the strange pattern continued. Determined to find answers, she decided to stay up one night watching the monitor closely, and that's when she saw this. As her baby lay peacefully in the crib, a pale, horrible face emerged from the shadows. It had glowing eyes, and it simply watched the child. It didn't move, didn't make a sound, it just stared. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it vanished. The mother was terrified. It wasn't human for sure, but who could she even call? The police? What would she say? Those familiar with the paranormal believe they know what she saw. They claim it was a strigoi. It's a restless spirit from Romanian folklore. Strigoi are said to be the souls of those who died violently, unbaptized, or with unfinished business. They rise at night seeking energy from the living. While some target adults, others are drawn to infants. It is said that the strigoi does not always attack immediately. Instead, it watches, choosing its victim, waiting until the child is weak enough to claim. Did you know that we've been eating yoga mats for years? Yeah, yoga mats. A food blogger uncovered a shocking truth about a fast food bread. Turns out Subway's bread contained a chemical called azidocarbonamide, the same substance used to make plastic products like yoga mats and shoe soles. When this information went public, people were outraged, and rightfully so. The backlash was so intense that Subway eventually removed the chemical from their bread, but many other companies still use it today. Oddly, this chemical is banned in Europe and other countries, but in the US, it's completely legal. Imagine that. While other countries protect their citizens from consuming plastic-like additives, Americans are still unknowingly chewing on yoga mat chemicals. And somewhere right now, I'm certain someone is biting into a yoga mat sandwich.
And somewhere right now, someone is either biting into a yoga mat sandwich or exercising on a footlong. This footage was taken in a hospital, and it shows something rather unexpected. There's a thin trail of blood on the floor starting from behind a cabinet, and when you follow it, you find the cause, a small leech. But what is a leech doing in a hospital room? One comment sheds some light on this fascinating scenario. Been there, seen it. We used leeches on reattached fingers and toes to promote healing by removing waste products and ensuring blood flow to the surgical area. They are amazing little creatures, and many appendages have been saved by them. However, as they do their job, the leeches expand until they fall off. If I didn't get back to the room by the time they fell off, I'd often have to follow the blood trail to find the little guys. It's incredible to think that these tiny creatures play such a significant role in modern medicine. Leeches are used to help ensure blood flow to surgical areas, especially in cases where fingers or toes have been reattached. Their natural ability to promote healing is something doctors have harnessed for years. It's fascinating and a bit eerie to imagine following a blood trail in a hospital to find one of these little helpers. I wonder what other surprising uses they have in their medical field. A man was parked outside a hospital after visiting a loved one when something caught his eye. Just as he was about to drive off, he noticed a strange sight and quickly took out his phone to record it. Emerging from the entrance was a human-like figure, almost like white smoke slowly drifting out. It wasn't a person, and it definitely wasn't fog or steam from the building. It moved with purpose, almost as if it had a mind of its own. The shape was distinct, resembling a person walking right out of the hospital doors, but it had an otherworldly, ethereal quality to it. Did this man just capture footage of a ghost? It sure looks like it, and with a setting as eerie as a hospital known for its connection to life and death, it's hard not to wonder if he encountered something supernatural. Hospitals are often rumored to be haunted, with stories of lingering spirits who have unfinished business or simply can't move on. Could this be one of those spirits?
A resident was inside their home when they heard some commotion from the neighbor's house. They went to investigate and found this strange scene. They saw a pair of animal-like legs with an upper torso being chased by a dog. The resident quickly started recording what they saw on their mobile phone. As the entity moved behind a trash can, it suddenly vanished. What in the world could this be? Was it an alien creature, a supernatural entity, or something else altogether? While some speculated that it could be the result of good CGI, the residents insist that what they had filmed was real. What do you think? During his cave exploration, the man spotted a peculiar fossil that caught his attention. As he moved closer, he realized that it was a saucer-shaped object stuck in a massive rock. After conducting a thorough examination, the experts confirmed that the fossil was, in fact, a UFO that had been buried for over 5 million years. The discovery of this ancient UFO has sparked a lot of interest and curiosity amongst scientists and the public alike. At least, that's what the individual who sent this clip in said. I've combed online resources and I can't seem to find any credible information. Also, this UFO is rather too small unless the aliens are tiny little buggers. But what do you guys think?
A tourist was out camping in the woods of Lancashire, London. Why, you ask? Well, after a long day of hiking, he had to find a spot to stay for the night. As he had his camera rolling, he suddenly felt the unnerving sensation of being followed. When he turned to look behind him, he saw something truly unsettling. A creature covered in thick, dark fur creeping up on him. The creature walked on 2 legs with its face obscured by the shadows, but it was clear that this wasn't a Bigfoot. So what exactly is it? Well, some believe this was a sighting of the elusive Dogman, but given how close this creature was to the man, it raises a chilling question. If this was real, how did the man escape unharmed? This makes me question the authenticity of the footage. What do you think, though? Is this sighting real or just another fake? The person behind the camera was passing by a closed shop with large glass windows. At first glance, you might think those are just stains or spots on the walls and floor, but not. Those are all insects. Would you look at that? Insects are crawling all over the walls and covering the floor like a living carpet. It's hard to tell exactly what kind of insects they are, but the sight is undeniably disturbing. The way they blanket the entire area makes the scene almost surreal, like something out of a horror movie. But you have to ask, why are so many insects gathered in one place? Is it some kind of infestation? Anyone with answers is allowed to educate the rest of us.
Pigeons, like all birds, have wings and feathers. The clip I'm about to show you, however, features a pigeon that was captured with strange markings in its wings that were only visible under UV light. Enjoy. You see it, don't you? This naturally left all who saw it with questions. Could pigeons still be in use as spy birds? Have secret organizations found a way to alter their bodies to suit their needs? It's hard to say, but who can argue with evidence? It's right there, unless of course the whole thing is a hoax and someone is having a laugh seeing us trying to figure this out. As always, I showed this to my science whiz Julius, waiting to be teased, but instead he was quiet. That's his way of saying, I don't think this is real, but it's not impossible to pull off. You've seen it too. What do you think is going on here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Is this how full chicken is made or processed? In this clip, someone picked up a dressed chicken and inserts a strange-looking tube into it through the neck. As they pump the substance into the chicken, it swells up and looks plump, like a fat chicken. We're not sure what's being pumped into the chicken, but it certainly doesn't look healthy. The substance being injected could be anything from water to chemical fillers, which raises significant concerns about food safety and consumer health. It's alarming to think that this practice might be used to artificially enhance the appearance of poultry, making it seem more appealing and increasing its weight for higher sales. If true, this could mean that consumers are unknowingly buying adulterated products, potentially exposing themselves to harmful substances. Am I the only one worried about what's happening to our food recently?
Did you know many individuals who have come across Bigfoot sightings in places of sleep have always noticed rock stacks? This clip was uploaded to one of our paranormal platforms by Rodney, who stated that he was out exploring and capturing as much of the outdoors as possible. After capturing and recording to his heart's content, he went home to review his work and adventure, and that's when he saw it. Although quite a distance from him, he could see it peeking and hiding in the bushes. Pay attention to the upper left corner, else you might miss it. Now, when this was uploaded, Bigfoot enthusiasts were excited and wouldn't stop talking about it. Those, just like you and I, were skeptical and stated that the quality of the clip was too low to determine if what we were seeing was indeed Bigfoot. But then again, you've seen the clip yourself, so what do you think? When it comes to Bigfoot sightings, we usually hear about an ape-like creature standing around 8 feet tall, almost human-like, covered in hair. However, the image you're looking at right now challenges that common description. This blurry headshot was taken years ago by the late Scott Carpenter, who firmly believed that he had captured footage of a Bigfoot. But here's where it gets interesting. This creature's face doesn't match the typical Bigfoot description. Instead, it has an eerie, almost human-like appearance with features that resemble something wearing an eye mask that covers only the upper half of the face. The chin, mouth, and jaw look distinctly human. Scott Carpenter suggested that Bigfoot might look different depending on where they're from. Could this be true? Are we looking at a regional variation of Bigfoot, or is this something entirely different? What are your thoughts?
A team of men were busy working on a property when they chanced upon a mysterious hole in the ground. Intrigued, they took a closer look, and to their amazement, they saw a creature that resembled a dragon-like serpent moving in the hole. This creature is known as a worm, which is a mythical creature often depicted as a cave worm dwelling in underground tunnels. Worm is considered to be one of the most dangerous creatures that you can ever come across. It's also believed that a worm guards treasures in the underground caves and tunnels that they inhabit. However, it's not easy to approach them as they are always on high alert, ready to attack anyone who tries to steal their treasure. In summary, if you ever come across a worm, it's best to run and never look back. But that also means that you just found yourself riches unheard of. Run and leave the treasure or fight the creature for it. Apparently a lot, but this is not one of them. It's what we call a leopard seal, not a mystical creature this time. Leopard seals are strong predators known for their sleek, spotted look and great hunting skills. They live in the cold waters around Antarctica and nearby areas where they're top hunters. Their bodies are shaped like torpedoes, and they have powerful jaws with sharp teeth, making them perfect for life in icy seas. They mostly eat fish, squid, and krill, but they also hunt penguins and other seals. Someone sent us this footage claiming it was the Loch Ness Monster, but come on. I didn't need to go to Julius to know this wasn't one. What do you guys think?
We don't know exactly where this footage was taken, but the person behind the camera couldn't resist pulling out their phone to capture this really terrifying scene. It was a windy night, and it seemed like a storm was about to roll in. You could hear the thunder rumbling in the distance, but what followed was far from ordinary. Instead of the usual flashes of lightning, the clouds lit up with a fiery orange glow, almost as if they were igniting from within, then quickly plunged back into darkness. This eerie phenomenon repeated itself, lighting up the sky in bursts of orange flame, making the scene look like something straight out of a nightmare. The contrast between the natural sound of thunder and the unnatural, almost otherworldly glow in the clouds is truly unsettling. What could cause such a strange occurrence? Is it some kind of rare weather phenomenon, or is there something more mysterious at play here? This footage was taken over the shores of Indonesia, and it's been causing quite a stir online. A man was taking a walk along the beach when he spotted something unusual falling from the sky. It was a long, dark object with a trail of smoke following behind it. Naturally, he captured the moment on video and it quickly went viral. The mysterious object has sparked a lot of debate, with even experts stepping in to assure the public that they are investigating it. Despite the official interest, no one has been able to identify what it is. Some people speculate that it might be some sort of balloon, but that theory hasn't been confirmed. Others suggest it could be something more out of the ordinary, perhaps even something extraterrestrial. Whatever it is, the lack of a clear explanation has only added to the intrigue. But what do you think about this mysterious object? What could it be?
Angels have long been revered as divine beings, known for their luminous appearance and wings. Recently, intriguing footage has surfaced showing a collection of glowing objects in the night sky. The objects were not like the famous glowing orbs that have been spotted in the past. They were a mass of oddly shaped things moving slowly in a captivating manner. The footage has left people wondering if these creatures were truly angels. The video raises many questions. Were these objects divine beings checking in on us, or were they something else entirely? What are your thoughts? As the rain poured down, someone decided to capture the event on their camera. Turns out they did the right thing, because suddenly, out of nowhere, a bolt of lightning struck the ground, accompanied by a deafening roar of thunder. Out of the lightning flash emerged a floating, glowing entity. The entity appeared to be hovering mid-air and appeared to be surrounded by an ethereal glow. The person filming was so spooked that they quickly retreated to the safety of their home. The question that remains is, what exactly was that mysterious entity? Was it an angel or some sort of interdimensional being that arrived through a portal created by the lightning strike?
There's news going around that the World Economic Forum is considering a shift in our primary source of protein, from animals to insects. Yeah, you heard that right, insects. At first glance, this might seem like a sustainable and innovative solution, but there's more to the story. You would think that this decision is being made with our best interests in mind, but there are some serious concerns that need to be addressed. Many insects are known to carry parasites that can be extremely harmful to humans. These parasites can cause a range of health issues, making the idea of insects as a primary food source quite worrisome. But that's not all. Insects also contain a substance called chitin, which is a tough, fibrous material found in their exoskeletons. Unlike other animals, humans have a hard time digesting chitin. Some studies even suggest that chitin could be carcinogenic to humans, potentially leading to severe health risks if consumed regularly. So while this proposed switch to insect-based protein might sound like a step towards sustainability, it's a decision that raises many questions. Is this really the best option for our health? Or are we overlooking some significant dangers in the pursuit of an alternative protein source? Technology is advancing at an incredible pace, often in ways we don't fully realize until it's already in use. Recently, I came across something that really made me stop and think. Did you know that the Dallas Cowboys are using facial recognition technology to verify their employees? Yeah, you heard that right. The NFL is rolling out this technology across all 32 teams and in 30 stadiums. But it doesn't stop there. The Dallas police are also using facial recognition to keep tabs on criminals. If they can track people like this, imagine the scale when it's applied in a massive stadium where the system is monitoring every single person in real time. It's almost mind-boggling when you think about it. On one hand, this is a brilliant move for security, ensuring that everyone from employees to fans is who they say they are, but on the other hand, it's also quite unsettling. The idea that every face in a crowd is being scanned and tracked is unsettling. Soon this technology will go worldwide, and there goes our privacy. It's a good initiative in terms of safety, but the implications are definitely something worth pondering. What do you think?
A man was walking by a school when he noticed something strange. The school bus in the yard had children's figures running in it. However, it wasn't time for kids to be outside. The bus wasn't meant for playing. So what exactly could be going on here? Curious, the man got closer to the bus to investigate, only to find out that what he thought were kids had eerily vanished from the bus. When he shared his story, those who heard it believed these figures were spirits of children who had passed away or childlike entities. However, skeptics argue that this could just be a well-crafted hoax. They suggest that reflections, shadows, or even projections could create the illusion of children inside the bus. Yet a similar incident occurred where a camera on a bus showed it filled with kids, and in the next second they'd all vanished. Is this a mere trick of light and shadow, or is something truly out of this world happening? Dogs protect their owners from physical harm, but what do you do when you can't see what your dogs are trying to protect you from? Confused? Well, watch this. It was a peaceful evening until the dog of the one filming started barking. Thinking someone might have snuck into the house, he quickly went to check the feed from his CCTV cameras, and what you're seeing on your screen is exactly what he saw. You do see it, don't you? Some invisible yet smoky and intangible being quickly ran across the compound or room. It repeats a few more times and there's still no tangible body in sight. The man is confused, and I can understand his confusion. I'm sure he was worried and thinking about what exactly had made its way to his home and how he could deal with it. Sure, he could trust his dog to deal with physical foes, but spiritual and intangible ones? Where does he go from there? Anyway, what do you think we could be dealing with? Share your thoughts with me in the comments section.
The original poster of the footage mentioned that this was caused by a lightning strike. In the video, you can see a forest with trees, and out of nowhere, a patch of the ground lights up in a bright orange glow. As the light fades, smoke begins to rise from the tree. The strange thing is that you don't actually see any lightning strike, which is surprising, just this sudden burst of light. Then I noticed the comments, and they took a different turn. Many people were suggesting that this wasn't a natural lightning strike at all. Some were claiming it could be a directed energy weapon, while others thought it might be some kind of laser weapon. For those who don't know, a DEW is a type of weapon that emits highly focused energy, including lasers, microwaves, or particle beams, to damage or destroy its target. Unlike traditional weapons, DEWs don't rely on physical projectiles. They use energy to cause damage, which makes them silent and difficult to detect until the impact occurs. So is this a DEW, as people are speculating, or is this really just lightning?
Por eso es muy importante durante el entrenamiento y cuando firman el juramento que ellos están confirmando que no van a ser partidistas.
In this video, something truly bizarre happens during a live news interview. As the reporter speaks to the camera, a man suddenly appears out of nowhere right behind the woman being interviewed. The atmosphere around him seems to ripple or wobble as if he just stepped out of some sort of portal or dimensional rift. It's as if he wasn't there one moment and then in the blink of an eye he materialized out of thin air. The way the air seems to distort around him is really strange, like the fabric of reality itself was disturbed. This has left many people wondering, did this man just time travel? Did he step through a portal from one dimension? Or is there some other explanation for this eerie phenomenon?
This image was taken at night, and you can definitely tell just by how grainy the whole thing looks. Given the fact that the image was taken at night, only the outline of the creature captured in it is visible. The dark, shadowy figure stands out against the dim background, making it difficult to discern any specific features beyond its unusual head size and familiar bipedal stance. Could this really be? Now, if you said Bigfoot, then you were definitely thinking what I was thinking. Bigfoot is typically described as an ape-like creature with a domed head and a human-like posture. This creature resembles a Bigfoot, except that it has a very small head. Is this just a small-headed Bigfoot, or is there something else going on here? Calling on all Bigfoot experts, please educate us. And if you didn't think any of those clips were weird enough, pay attention to the flower the young guy drops on the coffin. Did you see that? It somehow got absorbed into the coffin, almost as though whomever was buried was taking it. This freaked me out and is still freaking me out. Can anyone offer an explanation to what would make sense? If you have such an experience as well, please share.
Here we have another swarm of insects, this time captured by a man working out in a field. Just look at that. This happened in Texas. The sight alone is overwhelming, but the sound is even more unsettling. You can hear the swarm buzzing loudly, almost like a roar, as if moving through the air. It's as if the entire field is alive with these insects, creating a scene that's both fascinating and terrifying. Swarming insects like this are not uncommon, especially in warmer climates, but witnessing it up close like this is something else entirely. The sheer number of them, combined with that intense buzzing sound, makes for an experience that's hard to forget. How long do you keep your earphones in and your phone plastered to your ear while on a call? You might want to listen to what this man has to say.
iPhones, when most people put it to their head, up to 2 hours later, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch into the brain tissue is still heated.
He claims that the heat from our devices is causing ear tumors. According to him, prolonged exposure to the electromagnetic radiation emitted by our phones can lead to neoplastic activity, which is essentially the formation of tumors. It makes you think, doesn't it? Now, it seems like everything we use daily is potentially toxic and harmful to us. We rely so heavily on our devices, but at what cost? Is it worth risking our health for the convenience and connectivity that these gadgets provide? This is definitely something to consider the next time you pick up your phone or pop in your earphones for an extended call.
Tissue is still heated from using the phone against your ear. And when you repeatedly heat those things, then tissue actually starts to become neoplastic. We have a pair of surgeons here in town in Dallas. They're busy 5 days a week, booked every single day, all day, taking out parotid gland tumors from people having AirPods, Bluetooth devices, because it's actually causing neoplastic activity. So EMFs absolutely decrease life expectancy.
Next, we've got a peculiar and curious situation. A man put a fish into an opening that led to a body of water below, and suddenly something snatched the body of the fish off, leaving just the head in his hand. Just like me, I know you might be wondering what creature could be down there that took the fish from his hand. The possibilities are intriguing and alarming. It could be a large predatory fish like a pike or a barracuda, known for their powerful jaws and swift, deadly strikes. Another possibility is an alligator or a crocodile if the water connects to an area where these reptiles live. With their formidable bite strength and lightning-fast reactions, they can easily snap up a fish, leaving a stunned onlooker with just the remnants. The truth, however, is simple. It's hard to tell what we're dealing with. The man, however, appears to know what's down there. One thing we could be happy and thankful for is the fact that at least the man's fingers are intact. You know that haunting feeling of being watched that leaves the hairs on your skin raised? A woman experienced this chilling sensation whilst out in the woods in broad daylight in Connecticut. She stumbled upon an abandoned shack, and as she got closer, she began to feel uneasy, as if she was not alone and someone or something was watching her. To settle her fears, she took out a camera and began to look around but saw nothing, so she decided to return home. At home, she reviewed the footage to see if she had missed anything during her initial search. As she scrutinized the video, she saw it. A dark figure crouched at the side of the shack, its neck stretched out and staring right at her. This figure didn't resemble any wildlife animal she knew, and the sight of it sent chills down her spine. Disturbed by her discovery, she shared the footage online, hoping to find out what this eerie figure could be. The video started quite an uproar among viewers. Some suggested it could be a shadow person, a type of paranormal entity often reported in haunted locations. Others speculated it might be a cryptid, a creature whose existence is suggested but not scientifically confirmed, like Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil. A few skeptics proposed that the figure could be a trick of the light or a result of pareidolia, where the human mind sees familiar patterns like faces and random objects. Some even thought it might be a person living in the shack, possibly a hermit or someone hiding from society. What do you think it is?
So, we just seen this. Thought we'd share it with you guys. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
It's a real vivid circle rainbow around the sun, but then there's a second rainbow.
This video was taken in southern Oregon at a park, and what appeared in the sky is truly mesmerizing. There are not one, but two completely rainbow perfect circles. The smaller one sits perfectly inside the larger one, creating an incredible sight that almost looks too perfect to be real. Rainbows are typically seen as arcs, but under certain conditions, such as when viewed from a high vantage point like an aeroplane, or when the sun is at the right angle, a full circle rainbow can be visible. However, seeing two complete circles like this one within the other is extremely rare. Have you ever seen anything like this? Share your experience.
So, we just seen this. Thought we'd share it with you guys. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
It's a real vivid circle rainbow around the sun, but then there's a second rainbow.
What's this? Oh, this is cool. Whoa, holy
A man set up an interesting little project in his house. He took a glass cup, placed the stem of a plant in it, added some white and clear pebbles, and filled it with water. It looked like he was trying to grow something, a simple, peaceful little setup, but what he didn't expect was what happened next. To his surprise, a tiny fish started swimming around in the cup. This was like after months that he had made it, and he just noticed the fish. The strange part, this fish is completely transparent, almost invisible, and he's no idea where it came from. It wasn't something he placed in the cup, and it definitely wasn't part of his original plan. The man is baffled, and now he's left wondering, what kind of fish is this and how did it get there? Could it have somehow emerged from the plant or the pebbles? Is it some kind of rare or unknown species? Or is there a more ordinary explanation that he's overlooking? If anyone out there knows what type of fish this could be or how it might have appeared in the cup, we'd love to hear your thoughts. These days, there are a lot of sights in the sky which more often than not don't add up. From orbs to light formations that resemble saucers to shape-shifting objects, the skies seem to be filled with mysteries. Someone recently shared this intriguing footage of a strange light up in the sky moving at a questionable speed. The footage shows a bright, distinct light moving across the sky in a manner that defies the usual patterns of conventional aircraft. Its speed and the way it maneuvers suggest it could be something extraordinary. This object is obviously not the everyday plane you and I use. It looks more like a spacecraft of some sort. Having seen it, what do you think? Could this be advanced human tech that's being kept from the public eye, or are we witnessing something from another world? Share your thoughts in the comments section. This definitely doesn't look like anything you and I have encountered in our lives, does it? Well, I shouldn't speak for you because I've no idea what you've experienced, but this certainly is not normal. It looks like a humanoid creature with a mechanical makeup and wings attached. I know that's a mouthful, but it describes the exact thing we're dealing with right now. Once more, it appears to be moving its legs. The face shows no signs of life because, well, it doesn't look like skin or flesh. Naturally, I showed this to my team, and a number of them thought it might be a toy. Aaron, on the other hand, thought it might be a living creature from a plane that's not ours. For those who don't know Aaron, he's our conspiracy theorist, and he sees some conspiracy here. Our science whiz Julius, however, thinks this was put out there by someone to mislead the paranormal community. What do you think, though? Could this thing be alive, or are we simply trying to find a story where there isn't one? Share your thoughts. Camping can be an exhilarating adventure, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart, and this story is a perfect example of why. Imagine being out in the wilderness, enjoying the serenity of nature, only to be jolted awake in the dead of the night by unsettling noises.
Ai, meu Deus do céu! Vocês estão entendendo o quanto de jacaré tem aqui? Ai, meu Deus. Eu tô na barraca literalmente pra acampar. Vamos dormir aqui, guys? Teu cu. Ferrou meu...
A man experienced this exact scenario during his camping trip. As he cautiously peeked outside his tent, he was met with a heart-stopping sight as a group of crocodiles just lying in wait right outside his tent. The sheer terror of realizing you're surrounded by these ancient predators with nothing but a thin layer of fabric separating you from them is enough to make anyone stay off camping forever. As much as nature can be beautiful and calming, it's stories like these that remind us of its unpredictable and sometimes dangerous side. Personally, I don't know how we manage to stay calm, but for me, that would be a hard pass. Would you take the risk, or would this be your last camping trip too?
Ai, meu Deus do céu! Vocês estão entendendo o quanto de jacaré tem aqui? Ai, meu Deus. Eu tô na barraca literalmente pra acampar. Vamos dormir aqui, guys? Teu cu. Ferrou meu...
This is yet another bizarre sighting captured in the sky, and it's truly otherworldly. The footage shows random streaks of light flashing across the sky, and when these lights appear, they illuminate the surroundings, revealing strange, colorful forms that resemble a maze of odd, rock-like structures. The scene is undeniably beautiful, but it also raises many questions. Could this be a case of CGI? Or is there a chance that something more unusual is happening, perhaps something beyond our current understanding? While the beauty of the imagery is captivating, the possibility that it could be fake cannot be ignored. In fact, a number of individuals think it's fake. But what about you? Although technology has made incredible strides in recent years, there has always been groundbreaking and innovative ideas that paved the way for today's advancements. Take, for example, this alleged clip of the Toyota Townhouse concept car designed in 1991. This forward-thinking design envisioned a future where cars were not just vehicles but integrated living spaces. The Toyota Townhouse was allegedly more than just a car. It was a mobile home equipped with various features that made it possible to live comfortably while on the move. The design included a spacious interior that could be reconfigured for different purposes such as sleeping, working, or relaxing. It even supposedly had amenities that would rival those of a small apartment. This concept was a bold step towards imagining how vehicles could be more than just a means of transportation. It showed the potential for cars to become versatile living spaces, reflecting a lifestyle of mobility and flexibility that's increasingly relevant today. After coming across this, I found it a refreshing look into the past, but try as I may, I couldn't find a lot of sources with info on this car. If you were much older in the 90s, can you confirm if you saw this or not? Stepping away from the mechanical wonder, we've got another being that's left us a tad conflicted. That's not normal, right? That's a human being moving on all fours in a manner that's definitely a bit weird. Beyond that, he's barely had any clothes on and appears to be slender, much more slender than you would expect a normal man to be. A closer look and you'll realize that his ankles are bent in a way you would expect an animal to be. The owner of the CCTV cam saw this and alerted the neighbors. One of them reported that their home had been broken into, and the cams confirmed it was this person or creature. The question now is, who or what do you think this person is, and why is it roaming the neighborhood? The truth is, no one knows. Some think it may be a skinwalker, while others think the whole thing might be a hoax. Which of these schools of thought do you subscribe to? A homeowner was getting ready to retire for the night. As he turned off the lights, preparing to settle in, something outside the window caught his eye. Curious and a bit unsettled, he turned off the lights again, plunging the room into darkness to get a better look. And there, crouched in the shadows, was a figure. At first, it looked like a human, but there was something deeply unsettling about it. The figure was pale, completely naked, and its movements were anything but normal. The moment it realized the man was watching, it began crawling rapidly on the ground, moving straight toward the house. Panic set in as the homeowner quickly moved away from the window, his heart racing. The footage ends abruptly, leaving us in suspense, wondering what happened next. But one thing is for sure, that creature did not look like it was the next-door neighbor. What could it have been? Julius and I have gone back and forth on this footage, and after many hours, we still can't seem to agree on what it could be. The footage, shared by a man, shows something truly unusual, a spiraling phenomenon in the sky. You can see the clouds being gradually sucked into this spiral, and it's definitely not a tornado. As the video goes on, an orb appears and flies directly into the spiral, after which the atmosphere seems to clear up. This whole scene feels so real to me, almost like some sort of portal opening up, but Julius thinks it's a fake. Now, I'm usually open to speculation, and he could very well be right, but there's just something about this footage that keeps me intrigued. What do you guys think? Is this a real-life portal or just another clever hoax? Let me know in the comments.
No. If you thought that was bizarre, then you need to see this next clip. People have been capturing footage of these strange black smoke rings, and the weird thing is, they're popping up in different parts of the world. Now, some suggest that the logical explanation might be fireworks or lightning, but according to those who witnessed these smoky circles in the sky, there was no trace of fireworks or lightning anywhere in sight. So what could it be? Do these rings have anything to do with the recent surge in aliens and UFO sightings? Perhaps some kind of interdimensional portal opening up right above us? No one knows. Skeptics, however, suggest that these rings might be a natural occurrence that has only recently caught our attention due to the prevalence of smartphones and cameras. If you were to ask me, that's just a poor attempt to be logical, but hey, what do I know? And you know, I definitely won't move on to the next clip without asking what you think. So what do you think?
Antarctica has been the center of many conspiracy theories, ranging from it being the hollow Earth's center to aliens living there and more. However, no concrete evidence has ever been provided to support or debunk these claims. Recently, this image surfaced, allegedly from Antarctica, showcasing a hidden ancient city concealed beneath the icy walls. The settlement's impressive architecture has grabbed the attention of many, but the question remains, is this true? After conducting some research, we discovered that the image was just a painting and not a real photograph.
So I'm walking along here, and I run into this tree with this stupid grin on his face. It's just like the most perfect tree face I've ever seen.
The man behind his camera found this tree in the woods. That's pretty eerie, isn't it? Trees aren't supposed to have faces, but here we are, looking at a tree that seems to be staring right back at us. The natural placement of these holes almost perfectly mimics a human face, making it seem like the tree is alive in a way that's more than just its usual biological sense. What's even more intriguing is that it doesn't seem like anyone carved those features into the tree. They look completely natural, as if the tree just grew that way. It's almost like something out of a fairy tale or folklore where trees come to life and have their personalities. Could this just be a coincidence, a quirk of nature, or is there something more to it? What do you think?
He's like a little less happy, you know, he's just more is what it is kind of tree.
Someone stumbled upon this strange and eerie figure floating in the sky. The figure appeared to resemble a person dressed in a long robe with their arms stretched out in front of them, as if they were reaching out towards something or perhaps someone. This naturally left many people puzzled. Could this be some sort of advanced hologram, an elaborate trick of the light, or something even more mysterious? It's hard to say, but this is one I would love to hear your thoughts on. While walking through the woods, a man reported hearing strange noises coming from nearby. Curious, he decided to follow the sounds, leading him to a large tree. As he got closer, he realized the noises were coming from behind the tree. When he cautiously walked around it, he was suddenly confronted by something unexpected. Out from the shadows emerged a tall creature with a reptilian face and a brownish body. The sight startled the man, causing him to panic and run off. Now, looking at the video, the creature appears so odd and out of place that it feels hard to believe it's real. The way it moves and looks almost seems staged, leading many, including myself, to think this could very well be a hoax. But what do you think? A man was trekking through the Cambodian jungle when he stumbled upon a peculiar plant. At first glance, it seemed to be an ordinary flower. It had long, delicate white petals that appeared almost paper thin. Intrigued by its unusual appearance, he brought his palm closer to get a better look. But then, something unexpected happened. The white petals suddenly flew off the plant into the air. What just happened? Was it some kind of insect disguised as a flower, or were their strange white shapes actually a part of the plant? Has anyone seen anything like this before?
Okay, so I will say I'm stupid for drinking. That knife fell out of that little knife container thingy. No. This is all because, dude, this is getting dangerous, bro. You're gonna cut yourself.
A man captured this chilling footage in the middle of the night when he went into the kitchen and found one of the knives lying over a bowl. As he was talking, something truly disturbing happened. One of the knives from the knife rack suddenly flung out and embedded itself perfectly into the wooden floor. Now let's pause for a moment. The knife was stored in such a way that it's practically impossible for it to just uproot from the rack on its own, let alone fly out and land so precisely into the wood. The physics just doesn't add up. What makes this even more unsettling is that the man behind the camera is calmly communicating with whatever entity might be present. There's no panic in his voice, which might make you wonder, could this be real or just an elaborate hoax?
No. This is all because, dude, this is getting dangerous, bro. You're gonna cut yourself.
Wait, you buy your own ticket? You can put that you're a kid. Or you can do senior citizen. Do y'all see that?
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, what was that?
This lady was allegedly at a gym recording and making vlogs. You know, the thing that most individuals in the gym do instead of working out. Yeah, that. She was out there doing exactly that when she noticed something transparent come out of her and leave. Obviously, if anyone genuinely has such an experience, they'd be shaken up and quite scared, which is how she reported feeling. The big question on hers and everyone else's mind when she uploaded the clip was, what is that? Do we have an answer now? Well, no, but we can speculate. Aaron thinks it could be an apparition if the clip is genuinely true. Julius refused to comment because he thinks it makes him sound negative. There were some in the comments, however, who said what I imagine Julius would have loved to say. It's not real. There were some who, however, shared theories on what it could be. As you can see, some of the comments were nice, saying it might be water vapor, whereas others thought it was a vape. There were some mean comments too, like this person who said it was probably a ghost or spirit leaving her body because she wouldn't shut up. What say you? What do you also think about this?
Do y'all see that?
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yeah, what was that?
Now, we've shared creepy images from cameras given to kids over the years, but it's hard to even tell them apart. Take this one, for instance.
She just took a picture and she says, "Mommy, look, there's a man in the photo." I said, "What?" She said, "There's a man in my photo." And I went like that real quick. Like, this just happened, just like 5 minutes ago. Like, no one else is here. It's just us. Like, I'm going to have to change the date and time so I can get more pictures for y'all, but look at that.
A mother gave her child a camera to play with, and it was all rainbows and colors until her daughter told her that she'd captured a man in the photo. Now, you have to understand that they didn't have anyone with them, so this rubbed the mom off the wrong way. She took the camera to check, and sure enough, there was something, or should I say, someone in there. They weren't there with anyone, so not only was this perplexing, it was freaky and scary as well. She posted this online seeking answers and sharing her experience. If you ask me, what she should have done was leave that place, but then again, perhaps I'm just overreacting. What would you have done?
She just took a picture and she says, "Mommy, look, there's a man in the photo." I said, "What?" She said, "There's a man in my photo." And I went like that real quick. Like, this just happened just like 5 minutes ago.
It's been a while, but it's time for our bonus segment. For all those new to it, this is the part of the video where I show you a scene, object, or creature, and you try to identify it. The best answer gets a shout out in the next episode. With that out of the way, let's take a look at today's mystery clip.
Oh my god. Wow. Wow. That is hilarious.
It's got like a...
Can you identify the creature in this clip? If you can, kindly let us know its name in the comments section, and do well to add a unique fact. We will highlight the best answer with the highest likes to send a shout out to. All the best.
Oh my god. Wow. Wow. That is hilarious.
It's got like a...
A woman lit a candle and placed it near a hanging ball of clothes, and what happened next was truly eerie. A face appeared on the fabric. You can make out the shape of eyes, nose, mouth, and even what looks like hair. The face seems to have its eyes closed, almost as if it's resting. There's no context given in the footage, so it's unclear where the clothes came from or if there's any background to this strange occurrence. But what do you think? Could this be just a coincidence, a trick of light and shadows, or is there something more mysterious at play here? A man stumbled upon a random egg lying on the ground in tiny stones and sand. As he reached out to pick it up, he noticed something eerie. There was an eye staring back at him from beside the egg. The eye belonged to a massive creature hidden beneath the sand, watching his every move. The man froze, realizing that whatever this creature was, it was far from ordinary. Now everyone is baffled. Some believe it could be a crocodile, while others think it might be just some kind of bird. But with only the eye visible, it's hard to tell what kind of animal this is. What do you think? Could this mysterious creature be guarding its egg, or is it something entirely different?
If for some reason the toilet started crying.
A woman was in a public restroom when she noticed a strange sound coming from one of the toilet stalls. She decided to record the noise, capturing an eerie, almost mechanical groaning sound coming from the toilet itself. The noise seemed to echo and was unlike any typical plumbing sounds you'd expect. What could be causing this mysterious sound? Could it be a plumbing issue, or is there something more unusual happening here?
If for some reason the toilet start crying.
These two things, and I'm spitting into this.
Yeah, so that's a little tube that I get to spit into, I guess.
Now imagine you go to the doctor to get yourself checked, and when you walk in there, the nurses ask you if there was a complication. You explain to them that you're actually there to get treatment to repair the ulnar collateral ligament in the elbow. They tell you that the procedure was just completed and wanted to know if you had any discomfort. You're confused and try to explain it's your first time there. They ask you if you're Brady Figel, and you confirm, and they tell you that you've been treated. This puzzles you and them because they think that you're joking. After a little back and forth, you realize there's been another person in the clinic who looks just like you and has the same injury and booked to see the same doctor on the same day as you. Well, you'd be shocked, right? It's definitely has to be a glitch in the Matrix, right? Well, this was the reality of two men named Bradley Figel. Both men are 6'4", red-haired, and wear glasses. Naturally, this was too much of a coincidence and DNA tests were taken. The funny thing is, the test results showed they were not related in any way. Despite looking alike, one Brady Figel, aged 33, is a left-handed pitcher who made his MLB debut with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2024 after a long and unconventional journey through the minor leagues and independent baseball teams. He persevered through challenges like injuries and the pandemic to finally achieve his major league dream. The other Brady Figel, 27, is a right-handed pitcher currently in the Las Vegas Aviators organization. Interestingly, they even underwent the same elbow surgery by the same doctor years apart. Despite their uncanny resemblance and the DNA test confirming they're not biologically related, they consider themselves brothers in a way due to their shared experiences. Many who heard this story felt it was definitely a glitch in the Matrix. I mean, there's just too many coincidences. You've heard the story yourself. What do you also think?
Our Brady Figels find that they're not brothers or even related. So what we seem to have is a very bizarre coincidence of two total strangers who look alike, happen to share the same name and occupation. What are the odds?
We're still brothers in a way, I guess, you know.
And we're always going to be Brady Figel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
While you ponder over that, watch this footage and tell me what you think is going on. I've watched it several times, but I still can't figure it out. This is from a security camera set up outside someone's home, but it seems to be pointing toward the other house nearby. You can see an orb descending from the sky onto one of the houses, and just as it vanishes, the lights in that house suddenly come on. Then the orb reappears, floating back up into the sky, and as it does, the lights turn off again. It happens a second time, but this time when the orb goes back up, a larger orb appears and suddenly bolts of lightning light up the whole area before the orb vanishes completely. What in the world just happened? While you share your thoughts on that, what do you think of weather manipulation? Do you think it's a stupid idea, or do you think governments are already at it? Well, there are some who believe many of the things we're experiencing with regard to our weather are not as random as we think. With the onset of Hurricane Helene and the damage it has left in its path, especially in North Carolina, these talks have started again. Lives have been lost and damage costs have gone up by the billions. While it may seem easy to dismiss this as nature being nature, members of the paranormal community believe this was planned. Take these floodwaters for instance. On a normal day, nobody would think anything of it, but some of the members of the community with a background in science think it looks eerily familiar. To them, the shape of the waves look like what magnetic fluid looks like when exposed to a magnet. But could water be manipulated like that? Well, they seem to think so. They believe HAARP could be at the center. If you aren't familiar with the project, HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, is a research project originally funded by the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA for short, primarily for studying the ionosphere. The ionosphere is a part of Earth's upper atmosphere that plays a crucial role in radio wave propagation, which has implications for communication and navigation systems. HAARP uses powerful high-frequency radio transmitters to heat localized areas of the ionosphere, allowing researchers to study its response. The primary goal of the project was to understand and potentially improve radio communications, surveillance, and missile detection capabilities. Over time, HAARP has become the subject of numerous conspiracy theories, with some people claiming it was used for weather manipulation, mind control, or even as a weapon to cause natural disasters like earthquakes and hurricanes. This is due to how the waves of the project work, by heating portions of the ionosphere. It is theoretically possible, according to those in the community, to create the disasters we mentioned. There's also the bit of the vast lithium deposits locked up in the ground beneath North Carolina. That too has been linked to weather manipulation. But what do you guys think? Could there be truth to this, or are we just seeing things that aren't there? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
Here we go. Nothing. There we go again. Nothing.
A man living alone heard a knocking sound at his front door. He went to check, but no one was there. Just as he turned away, the knocking started again, this time from inside, coming from his bedroom door. When he opened it, he found no one there, but he heard loud breathing from under the bed. He held his phone underneath to check, and for a brief second caught a glimpse of two glowing eyes staring back. Freaked out, he left the room and went to another, only to find two chairs stacked oddly, one on top of the other. As the day went on, the knocking continued, leading him toward the staircase, but once again, nothing and no one was there. Seems like this house might truly be haunted. Would you dare to investigate further?
And there's nothing. Oh, what the hell is that? Yeah. Right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. It's getting ridiculous now.
Let's break down this strange footage, which was captured by a street security camera in an undisclosed location. In the clip, a dark ghostly figure can be seen moving across the street, emerging from the nearby woodland. At first glance, it seems almost transparent, its form shifting as it moves, with the upper part of its body appearing more visible than the lower half. The figure's bipedal movement makes it clear that whatever this is, it's not an animal. One thing that stands out is the figure's posture. The upper body appears hunched or bent, giving it an eerie, unnatural appearance. It doesn't quite resemble the typical idea of a ghost, especially not a human one. Its proportions are strange, almost as if it's something not of this world. Some have speculated that it could be an alien, perhaps some using some kind of cloaking technology. Others argue that this could be some form of shadow on the camera. Looking at it, what do you think it could be? It's no secret that the ocean is one of the creepiest places on Earth, with so many strange and unexplained things lurking in its depths. There are always new mysteries surfacing. Take a look at this, for instance. Some deep-sea adventurers captured this worm-like creature wiggling in the ocean on camera. It was long and slithering, moving gracefully through the water. But here's where things get really weird. After it floated around for a bit, it suddenly dissipated into the water, almost like it turned into dust and just vanished. What could this thing be? At first glance, it looked alive, but then it seemed to melt away in front of their eyes. It's as if the creature had some kind of strange, almost ghostly ability to disappear. Is it some sort of deep-sea phenomenon, or is this something otherworldly? Some educate us in the comments section.
This is a video called a Curgus video, which is a close-up of a craft, so close that you can see the occupants. It is 100% real, and I was there as that was filmed.
Back in 2008, a famous piece of footage known as the Gumbagus footage was captured, showing a close-up of a UFO. When analysts examined the footage more closely, zooming in, revealing what appeared to be figures inside the craft. These figures had large heads, thin necks, and distinctive features resembling the gray alien archetype, with smooth, expressionless faces. This footage has since been widely discussed and studied for its uncanny details. Could this be one of the most compelling UFO sightings on record?
The whole footage has been analyzed for a more scientific board for 2.5 weeks, frame by frame, pixel by pixel, and this is 100% genuine footage.
Now this next one is one I have no words for. Let's take a look at it together. It was supposed to be a football game like any other until lightning decided to pay a visit. Just in case you didn't realize it, the reason those players fell is because lightning struck the field. Not everybody went down. Those who were warming up and running by the pitch didn't go down. Those walking slowly did, and as expected, the officials and spectators panicked. This is something no one who went there that day was expecting. Now the big question is, why did lightning strike during the game, and how come not everyone was affected? Do you have answers, or should we consider this the wrath of God? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. Speaking of being critical about details, tell me what you see when you look at this. I asked some team members the same question, and they thought we were dealing with something prehistoric, say a dinosaur. I mean, that's not so odd, because that's what I thought too. But then again, they're extinct, so it couldn't be them, right? So I checked the comments section of the original post to see if there was an explanation, and all I got was different perspectives. Some thought it was flying fish, which makes sense, but then again, it doesn't look like there's any water body around. Some also thought it had to be something related to dragons and fairies. Now that I say that out loud, I know how it sounds, but stay with me. While there were otherworldly submissions like the Phoenix and what have you, there was also more grounded theories like it being a drone. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know we have showcased drones, including those made by the military, to look like things like this for espionage purposes. The big question here is, what exactly are we dealing with? Julius thinks it's probably CGI, and my video editor agrees. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think? After the recent hurricanes in America, a strange video surfaced online showing a bizarre creature that had reportedly been washed out of the sea and onto the streets in the middle of a neighborhood. The creature, covered in dark goo, is seen flopping around on the ground, struggling to move. Speaking of glitching and unusual floating objects, take a look at this one. Tell me you see the strange thing in the sky. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if you pay attention to the audio coming from the clip, you can hear people screaming, with the police puzzled and trying to make out what.
Have you ever wondered what creature would take over if humans went extinct? If you're thinking primates like monkeys or apes, well, you might be wrong. Some scientists have found that primates are likely to go extinct just like humans because we're similar, very competitive and aggressive. But the shocking thing they discovered is that octopuses are more likely to take over the Earth after we're gone. Octopuses are said to date back over 200 million years, even before the dinosaurs. Given that long period, they've gone through a huge amount of evolution, making them incredibly adaptable. The way they live, adapt, and communicate is fascinating, not to mention their high intelligence. Some even speculate that if there's an alien intelligence on Earth, it could be highly evolved octopuses living deep in the ocean. What do you think about this? Could octopuses really become the dominant species if humans disappeared? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.